Welcome to Whiskey's a Journey. My name is Peter Fasciano. Today's Friday. I got another Battle of the Bottles coming at you. If you're new here and you don't know what's going on, I have about 50 random samples that I put together in my blind sample pool. I put them together for some reason. I'm a Whiskey Promiscuous channel, so these can be just about any type of whiskey that's out there. I've already poured them. I'm going to nose them and taste them, A/B compare them, figure out some of the notes, what I like, what I don't like, and then off air, I'm going to let my palate rest, give them due time, rinse in between. Eventually, when I come back, I should have a pretty good idea of which one I like the most, and I'll give you some reasons why. So if this does sound something that you'd be interested in, and if you're not a subscriber, do me a favor, click on that little link right there, subscribe to the channel, turn that bell notification on because I produce videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And before I get this going, I have a January giveaway. All of the rules to that giveaway are in the description below. All right, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to this. I am going to start on my left. I think I've been doing the right-hand side last couple of times. So let me go ahead and start on the left. We'll nose it, we'll taste it. I've got my water, I've got my paper, and then I'm gonna be taking some notes as we go. So here we go, first glass. Oh man, this is a strong whiskey. Say whiskey because I don't know what it is yet. Could be a rye, could be a bourbon, could be something finished. It's very sweet, very mapley, a little bit of banana, chocolate, tobacco, whatever this is, smells absolutely fantastic, fantastic. I'm actually a little bit nervous to taste this. This is my very first sip of the day, and whatever is in this glass is coming across as pretty strong. So it might overpower my first sip here. I might have to get a little bit of water after this. All right, it smells sweet, a little bit of spice, banana, chocolate, tobacco, maple. All right, let's get it on the palate. Cheers, everybody. That is high proof and really sweet and really delicious. Holy cow. My mouth is just instantly a waterfall. That is one of the better tasting whiskeys that I've had. As my mouth is salivating here, I get notes of bubblegum, cherry, brown sugar, caramel, vanilla, tobacco, chocolate. It's a blast of flavor. Very delicious. And the heat that I was getting on my nose as far as like ABV goes, it doesn't drink as hot as it smells, which is very interesting. Whatever is in glass number one is absolutely fantastic. Let me get a rinse of water and move on to glass number two. Boy, glass number one just went on forever too. That finish just lingered and went and went and went. Just kind of grew, got more chocolatey, got more tobacco, got sweeter. Yeah, that was really good. All right, glass number two. All right, glass number two is really coming across as pine. And usually if I get a pine note, I think it's a rye. But that didn't smell or taste like a rye at all. So I wonder if these are maybe high rye bourbons. So the note that I just got here, as I was bringing it up to my nose, smelled like a very dry champagne. Now, I'm not a big champagne drinker. I actually can't remember the last time I had champagne or a Prosecco. Is Prosecco a type of champagne? I know Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, or New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day, there was some Prosecco floating around, and I got vibes of some sort of bubbly, carbonated champagne or Prosecco. And I think that's what it's called, Prosecco. This smells fantastic as well. It's fruity, it's piney. ABV is stinging the nose a little bit as well. And I tell you what, the color on these are pretty close to being the same. And they're pretty dark. Yeah, I'm saying that this one is coming across as a rye. Pine, not dill, not herbal. It just comes across as pine needles, like you're walking into a pine forest. Vanilla, sweet, spice. I don't think there's spice. But yeah, it does come across as champagne-y. A little fruity, a little dry. All right, let's go ahead and get this one on the palate. Not as high proof as this, but holy cow, that packed another flavor punch. That is really good as well. Wow. All right, so I need to take a second here. The pine note that I was getting on the nose is definitely coming through on the palate. But if pine can be dipped in sugar and honey and caramel and vanilla, that's what this is. It's very fruity, good amount of sweet, and spice. I don't know if I'm picking up spice in either one of these. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing just yet, because I am noticing over the past couple of months, my flavor profile or my preferences are starting to shift a little bit. I'm starting to get away from really sweet tasting whiskeys and having a little bit of a spice or a kick, not an ABV spice or ABV heat, but I'm looking for a little bit more spice that kicks the development or kicks the profile up a little bit without being drowned with a bunch of sugar. I hope that makes sense. And I think both of these could use a little bit of spice because they're coming across as really sweet. I think they're both fantastic. I'm going to be really interested to see what they actually are. But before I go off air, I want to get a rinse of water again, go back the other direction, taste this one and this one, see if anything plays off of one another a little bit differently going the other direction. Then I'll take some time, let my palate calm down a little bit, and then I'll come back with a decision. All right, glass number 2 again. Okay, candy note is coming through. That pine note is right up front and center, which makes me think this is a rye. But again, I haven't gotten back to the second tasting or nosing on this one, so I don't know if this is a mixed match of rye or high rye or what. And I also need to stop trying to figure out what it is. I just want to concentrate on what's in the glass and what comes across on the palate. So pine, vanilla, candy sweet, not a whole lot of spice, but there is a little bit of a tingle of ABV in the nostrils. And there's a dry champagne, dry Chardonnay fruit note that's coming through here. All right, let me get this thing on the palate again. Man, that is fantastic. A pear, an apple, vanilla brown sugar, a little bit of bitterness and dryness is creeping into the side of the tongue. It's finishing rather sweet, and there is a little bit of barrel tannin or spice kind of creeping in there. Not a lot, but there's a little bit there. I still think that there's not enough spice to balance out the sweet, but it's absolutely amazing. I really like this. I think I took 2 big sips, so I gotta calm myself here. Let's get a rinse of water, move back to glass number 1. Oh man, it's even sweeter on the nose. Maple banana, maple banana. Wonder if this is Jack Daniels. Maple banana, high proof. Wonder if this is the Jack Daniels rye. Because if this is a rye and this is coming across as maple banana, I wonder if it's the rye. It would explain a lot because it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, chocolate and tobacco, good proof, sting in the nose. It has to be. And it's fresh in my head because it was part of my end of the year whiskeys of the year video. All right, I didn't even taste it. So let me get back to the nosing, back to the tasting, and then go off air. Yeah, this is definitely a banana, maple, brown sugar, chocolate, tobacco, and it's really sweet, like bubblegum sweet. All right, let's go ahead and get it on the palate again. Proof, sweetness, chocolate. As I'm breathing in, that alcohol is hitting the back of the throat. High proof, low on the spice, high on the sweet, but still delicious. There's now, as I'm talking and air is going over my tongue, I'm breathing in, definitely like a strawberry bubblegum note. Fantastic. This matchup, I have an idea of what it is, and they're both absolutely amazing. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some time, go off air, rinse, take some notes, and then when I come back, I'll have a better description of what I'm getting and which one I like the most. And it's a very, very difficult decision, I can tell you that. All right, I'll be right back. All right, man, this was a hell of a battle. Both of these are amazing. And I say this most of the time, every time I have one of these really close battles. This is very difficult to decide. Probably up to this point, the hardest one that I've had to decide. They're both excellent, and they are, I don't want to say polar opposites, but the notes that I'm getting in here are notes that I like in a rye whiskey, and the notes that I'm getting in here are just sweet goodness with a little bit of rising spice. So here's what I have. Glass 1, maple banana, high proof vanilla, chocolate tobacco, low spice, strawberry bubblegum note starts to rise up towards the end of the finish. And along with that bubblegum note rising up towards the finish, there's also a lingering and growing spice that occurs, which is very pleasant. It wasn't there on my first couple of sips, but the more I spent time with this and I let my palate rest, that spice ended up growing along with that bubblegum strawberry note, which I found amazing. Now, glass number 2, on the other hand, so second glass, this came across as a rye. When I end up drinking a rye and I like it, that pine note is not an over-the-top type rye note. It's a subtle pine, and that pine, like I had mentioned earlier, it almost gets to the point where I don't want to say tea, because it's not tea and it's not herbal, but when you walk into a forest, you're hit with a pine note, but it's a little bit subdued. And then right behind that, there is a freshness of vanilla and honey. So if you were to take a pine tree, needle, branch, and you were to dip it in vanilla and honey, that's what I get on the nose with this one, which I love. I love being outside, love camping, and that just brings me back to the outside without being earthy or herbal. And then once I have that on the palate, what comes through is a little bit of, and I've mentioned this already, there's a little bit of a dry Chardonnay, champagne, fruity note. And that fruit comes across to me as a combination of apple and pear. I didn't get it all the time, but every once in a while, and it may have just been coming out of this glass, but every once in a while when I brought this up to my nose, I did still get a little bit of a strawberry bubblegum note, but again, it could just be this glass. I'm not exactly positive. So take that for what it's worth. All right, so I have a decision. I am definitely leaning towards glass number 1, and the only reason I am leaning more towards glass number 1 is because of the drying note, like a dry Chardonnay, a dry champagne that's coming out of this glass. I would much rather have more of a feeling of it's sticking to my tongue, the finish is sweet with a little bit of rising spice, and that dry note detracts from this ever so slightly, which makes me put this into second place. But like I said, I can drink either one of these at any time and be completely happy with it. So you already know what I've been drinking, so let me go ahead and reveal to myself what it is that I was drinking. Glass number 2, coming in second place, and if I didn't tell you already, I have them a little stickered on the bottom. So glass number 2, I think this is Jack Daniel's, the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye, but I have this in my matchup pool, my blind matchup, multiple times, so I have no idea what this could be, but it's really good. So this is ending up being, what the hell is LB? Oh, Little Book Path Not Taken. That's great. So both of these were in my whiskey of the year. Granted, if this is actually Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye, which it is. So Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye. Oh shit. Okay. So I have 2 bottles of this. I'm not positive because I don't have the proof written down here. I don't know which bottle it actually was. Oh no, never mind. I have I have 2 bottles of the Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey, not the rye. I only have 1 bottle of the rye. So let me grab these bottles. I need to remind myself of the price and the proof, and then we'll wrap this up. Give me 1 second. Actually, while this is going, I'm going to put these together. I don't know how long it's been since I've done a blend, but let this thing sit here for a little bit. I'll be right back. All right, so the Jack Daniel's rye was on my left. So this is Jack Daniel's barrel proof rye, and it's 130.2 proof, $74.99. Little Book, Chapter 8, Path Not Taken, $159.99. And the print on this is rather small, and my eyesight is really bad these days. I need to get a new prescription. So this one is 118.2 proof. So this is the 2024 release. Tell you what, this is an amazing matchup. People have asked me in the past if the Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Rye, if I didn't know I was drinking a rye, if I would think that it was a rye. And based on my first couple of sips, I don't know. I can't tell you that the rye is coming across as a rye. I was confused on this. And as soon as I tasted this, because of that pine note that came through, it made me think that this was a rye matchup. And I ended up getting the maple banana note, which is one of those telltale signs that it is it a Brown-Forman product that comes across as banana and maple? That's what I got. But I got to tell you, I wouldn't peg this as a rye. It is a rye that drinks like a bourbon. That is where I'm at. If you have had any matchups that involved the Little Book Chapter 8, Path Not Taken, and this technically is not a rye. There are a blend of high rye bourbons and rye whiskeys in here. So it's not technically a rye. It just says blended straight whiskeys. Let me go ahead and see what this a blend is all about. Jack Daniel's is definitely coming through here. It's overpowering the pine notes that I was getting from the Little Book. It's incredibly sweet. Oh, okay, so on that swirl, now I also do get pine. It's a perfect combination of maple, banana, and pine. Let's go and get it on the palate. Definitely proof. I think it flattened everything out. I really don't have another sip, but I think it flattened everything out. The ABV is the thing that takes over the most. The strawberry bubblegum note is sitting there and lingering. The dryness of this has disappeared. And to be quite honest, it tastes a little bit like Dr. Pepper, like a flat cola. Yeah, it's not bad, but it just seems to be lacking that punch that these had separately. I wouldn't say that it's a bad blend, but it's missing something. All right, that is where I'm going to leave it today. So wherever you are at in your journey, I really hope that you are enjoying it. And with that, I will talk to everybody later. Bye.